Hey guys, welcome back to Build Something on This Bus. Today, I'm going to show you how I built my water system. Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you are all doing well. Today's project, which is another big one, is to tackle the water in the bus for the sink, shower, all that fun stuff. So everything that you see here is everything that I've collected over the past couple weeks of what I need to pull this off. A bunch of connectors, my pump, my water outside, the water tank, water heater, and a pressure tank for so this pump doesn't turn on every time I turn the water on. So let me go into more on what we're going to do and go from there. Hey guys, so now that I have all the components for my plumbing and that way I can get some running water on this bus finally, this is where all that is going to be housed, in this little closet area. I have a stand-up water tank, or a cylinder water tank that comes up to about here. 40 gallons, so that should be enough for what I need. As you see, on this side of the wall will be the sink, and then on this side of the wall will be the shower. So it's a perfect in-between, and I don't have to run super crazy lines across the entire bus, because all my water is going to be on this side. Shower, sink, and that's really it. So what I have to do now is, in here, I don't know if you can see, but I have a drawing, which is, I'm going to cut out an inlet in this part of the wall here, and it's really the only space in the bus that doesn't have a window that allows me to do this. And I think that's why I picked this spot for the water. I got one of these water inlet things that go on the outside of the RV or the bus or something. It's got the little deals on the back of it. And that's going to go about here. Can you see that? Yeah. And that will be able to drop in to fill the water. And if I need to, or have the ability to, I'll just put a hose in from water mains or something if I ever come across it. So that will be the thing. So what we have to do first, before I start putting the tank in here and building around that, because that will be the first thing that needs to go in here, is that tank. I'm going to cut out this section to see if there is nothing behind it. If I can kind of knock on the wall, I can kind of hear nothing here and then nothing on that side. So I think I'm pretty safe. But what we're going to get to do is cut into that, see if there is space to where I can push this all the way through, and then cut the metal on the outside of the bus. So that will be the next steps, and we'll do that. Alright guys, now that I got the hose here, I have the attachment drilled into the tank, and then I've just put this braided hose and attached a clamp on this end and attached a clamp on this end, and this will just slide into my little nook and connect to that water fill system here. So put this in. A little snug, but that's kind of the way I want it. So go all the way back, and then this will go right into there, and then I have my water fill system. Alright guys, so since this is such an awkward corner of the bus, it's really hard to find a good angle to talk to you guys and show you what I'm trying to think of. But I have an idea. I've been going through this for like a couple days, even maybe a month now, trying to figure out how I'm going to get this water system to work in such a tiny little space. What I want to show you is lay out kind of what I am going to do, then try to execute it and see if it works. So I have a feeling this one will finally work, but like I said, it's taken me a few times to really think about what I need. So let's do that. So I went ahead and started putting some of the PEX into locations where I won't be able to get to once the tank is here. There's only one place, and that's basically the pipes that are going to go into the cabinet for where the kitchen sink is going to be. Everything else will be up front, and I can adjust. So I went ahead to make sure that these are very tightly secure before I do anything else, because these are really the only two places I'm going to not be able to reach once I put the tank in. So I think that's pretty good odds with everything else, but let's move on to getting the tank in here and start plumbing what needs to be plumbed. Alright guys, so now that I got the water tank installed, as you can tell, I started building some brackets and screwing them in so this tank does not move an inch when it actually has water in it. Because once it has water, it's going to be very heavy, and if I'm driving the bus with a full tank of water, I don't want it to go anywhere. So what I'm going to do next is I want to just finalize, I think I have one more, yeah. I have one more piece of wood that I'm going to add to the bottom here, and that will fully encapsulate the water tank, and then we'll get to the fun part and start piping in all of the PEX and the connectors. So let me just put this in, and then we'll jump to making the connectors. Now that we're here at the bottom of the tank, this is where it's all going to start, and hopefully get it to work the way I envisioned or planned it's going to. So let's start off with the outlet that's going to be the main water source. This is going to come out. So I already worked on a little bit without you guys, sorry, but these push-to connects are pretty cool. I went ahead and started with figuring out how the lengths work and all the connections and everything. So what you're looking at here is where this is going to connect to the main water source. So if I put this block here, it's going to raise it up to kind of support the PEX. And so if I stick it on top of the board, you can see that it sits flush with where it's going to be. So water is going to come out, come around this way. This valve is for if I ever need to drain the tank for some reason, I can go ahead and open it up, and that will drain the tank, and I can remove it without having to deal with heavy water if need be. And what you don't see, well, I guess you can see it on the camera, there's a hole in the floor already. So I have a 90-degree angle here that drops down into that hole, and that goes all the way through the floor of the bus. and that is going to be my drain, my emergency drain. So this will always stay off just in case I have to drain the tank. It's right there, it's out of the way, and I won't have to think about it. So the next steps is I'm going to have to come here, have this 90 go this direction, and then we're going to go up the wall, which I'll show you in a second, and start to show you where I'm going to install the pump and how that's going to work. As we go up, you see my pump right there, and then I'll have my wires on the back side of the pump, and those will go on this far side of the 2x4. And then if you continue up that way, you will see some wires that I actually pre-installed and ready for extra power for the pump, because I knew eventually I was going to attach it to here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the top on top of the water tank and hook up the pump to my reservoir tank. Alright guys, and before I put my reservoir tank up there, I have to make sure all these pipe fittings are connected. What I found over the internet and the World Wide Webs is that, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong on this, but when it's metal to metal connections, you always want to use plumber's tape. When it's plastic to plastic, you don't need it, but when it's plastic to metal, you use plumber's tape as well. And we'll see how that works out, and if this is out before I test it, y'all can let me know. But what I have is just this T that I need to adapt onto the tank itself, and I also need to pressurize it, make sure it's at the right PSI, so that way I always have pressure in my water system. So we're gonna do that, and I'll let you know how that goes. Alright guys, so next step is to put the shelf on top of this here. I went ahead, plywood, cut out a little hole for the fill tube, which you'll see in a second, and then a little notch here. So all this does, it's going to set in and encapsulate the water tank. Now I have a shelf I can put things on. Remind you, the pump is here. The pump still has to come up this way. And now that I have my pipe fittings on and secure, I can put my water tank up here. And so what's going to happen is this is going to come up through the plywood. I'm going to get this set to a certain spot, and this will come up to a 90, and then come over this way, and then continue on. And then I'll go into the next part of this loop-de-doop thing and go from there. Alright guys, so now I drilled the hole, put a 45 on the piece of PEX, put the PEX through the hole, and on the next level down, this is where you actually see the T that's going to branch off through this 2x4, and right here will be the shower adjuster for the hot and cold. So now I just have a temporary PEX sitting there, and what I'm going to do is continue to go down side of the closet and mount the hot water heater and show you how I'm setting that up. that's going to go right here. And this is just a Gasland on-demand propane hot water heater. It works well. I tested it out and it gets hot really quick. So, pretty neat. So now I have it installed and you can see what I'm talking about when the water comes down. This is coming back up from that pressure tank and down, and then all I have to do is connect this into this line, and then this tees off and it'll go into the line for the sink that's on this side. Same thing for the hot water. Hot water is going to come out this way, go back up for the shower, and then this will continue this way for the hot water for the sink. So I'm going to just do that and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so this has been kind of a difficult project. And not really knowing what to shoot and what to show you. But I basically have finished plumbing up everything that needs to be plumbed and watertight, hopefully. Now I haven't tested the system yet, but I'm getting very close, and there's a few little things that I need to do, but then all we have to do is fill up the water tank and see if it actually works. But before we do that, I'm going to show you what I did. Alright guys, so starting off with where the water is actually going to come from. So I have my water tank behind the heater, of course. So the water actually is going to come out this spout right here. So this will come down and around. Then I have a release valve, and that goes through the floor in order to drain the tank if I ever need to. But what this does, it will continue on, goes over, and then up this blue line, water pump that pulls the water up, and it will just continue going up. And then it will come up over the shelf, through here, into my pressure water tank, and then it will continue to flow down this way. Elbow out, come down this way, all the way back to another elbow that comes off into a T. This T will go up into the water heater, heat the water, come out the red, and then it tees off. The red will actually come off this way and go up. The hot water will come through here, goes into the shower nozzle. Then I have my hot water coming in, my cold water coming in, and then going up is the shower spout for the shower. Alright guys, and now that on the other side of the water system, I have the water coming out through the cabinet for my sink. So I'll have cold water and hot water, and these two will go up and then branch off into the water faucet. And when I don't need the water tank and I have it plugged up to the city water, I have this here that will come out from the bus down into here into this T. This is a check valve, so water cannot go this way, but it can only go this way. So this doesn't ruin my pump or mess with the pressure of my tank. And this will continue down into the normal part of the system. All right, and so the last thing I have to do is hook up this pump before I can put water in it and test the system. So all I have to do is wire this guy up with a switch, and then we'll test it out. Alright guys, so what I'm doing next is getting power to my water pump. If you remember in any of my previous videos, I wired up a bunch of lights for the kitchen. I deliberately put off 2 extra lines so I can attach more power to the battery bank itself. So all I did was put 2 new wires attached to these, and that's drawing from the main power. These are just coming off of a switch and basically making one continuous loop. So all I have to do now is take these lines and shove them down this little hole that I created down to the pump, and then I can wire up this little switch and hopefully get this pump working. All right, now down at the bottom, I decided to put the switch on the inside of the cabinet right next to where the pump is going. So all it's going to do is fit in right here and out of the way. So if I need to switch it off for some reason or another, I just have the ability to flip that on and off and make that work. So we'll go to the other side and hook them up. Alright guys, so now that I have it all wired up, I turned my power back on, and let's see if the pump works. So here goes nothing. Yeah, got some pump. Alright, I'll take that. Alright guys, finally got this finished and all ready to go. I'm gonna wait to test out the water because there's a few more smaller things that I have to do for like the sink and everything. But as far as everything connected and the pump and all that stuff goes, it's all set. And I'm really excited on how it turned out. It took a long time to finish out the loop system and how everything's gonna work, but I have a good feeling that all the water will stay in their designated areas. And excited to hook up the shower and the sink. So that will be for a later date, but I just kind of wanted to show you how I developed this into this little closet area and how it will work for me in the best possible way. So if you enjoy what you see, like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. And whoever's still watching these, thank you for watching. And sorry it takes so long to pump these out, but sometimes they just take time, so. But on that note, I'm gonna leave that there, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.